Hi, I'm Ron Chandler, and I want to take a deeper look at one of the ideas behind my new book, Fantasy Reconstructed. There it is. Most fantasy players believe that if they prepare well enough and make the right moves, they'll eventually be rewarded. That belief isn't wrong, but it's incomplete. What are the actual odds of winning, and what do those odds say about the way the game is structured? Let's talk about some math. Last year in the main event of the National Fantasy Baseball Championship, the NFBC, there were around 850 participants putting down $1,600 to win $200,000. That meant your chance of winning the overall grand prize was just over 0.1%. Those are roughly the same odds as being dealt a 4 of a kind in a 5-card poker hand, or cracking open a double yolk egg, or giving birth to triplets. That's why the NFBC also pays out prizes at the individual league level. There were about 60 leagues last year, and winning one of those $7,500 payouts was roughly the odds of hitting a deer with your car in Wisconsin. So that's also why these leagues typically pay down to third place at a level that at least allows you to recoup your investment. That gives you about a 1 in 5 odds of breaking even. That sounds better when you lay it out that way. But it still means that roughly 80% of all participants will walk away with nothing to show for their $1,750. Maybe you're okay with those odds for that type of payout. I'm not judging. The reality is that in many formats, the odds are stacked against you even breaking even. Is that inherently bad? Maybe not. But it is worth questioning, especially when you're designing a league of your own. So let's bring this down to your home league, where the buy-in is $50, $100, maybe a few $100s. On page 135 of Fantasy Reconstructed, I posed this question. Would you rather have a 1 in 8 chance of breaking even with a 1 in 7 chance of winning 10 times your buy-in, or a 1 in 2 chance of breaking even with a 1 in 7 chance of winning only double your buy-in? That's similar to a 50-50 DFS contest. Higher odds of recouping your money, but a lower payout at the top. Here's my hunch. The higher the entry fee, the more attractive softer odds become. In a $50 league, long odds and a big payout can be great fun. In a $500 league, most of us probably want a much better chance of at least getting our money back. But these thresholds are personal. Your league might decide that $500 in winnings is perfect for a $50 buy-in. But is $400 in winnings still worth it? How about $300? With each step down, presumably more owners have a chance to recoup their cash and stay engaged. That is so important. Fantasy owners who lose 80% of the time can also lose interest. That's death to many leagues. That's why you should periodically reassess your prize structure. Shifting cash to chip away at that 80% could be beneficial. In a 12-team league, for instance, paying down to 4th place is common, but paying down to 6th place might keep more owners engaged, especially once football season hits and non-contenders start throwing in the towel. Maybe half of your league's teams breaking even is too low for your taste, so find a more comfortable spot to land on. In fact, it's a good idea to periodically reassess all your rules, and Fantasy Reconstructed is an invitation to do exactly that. Because once you start rethinking the game's design, you start enjoying it in entirely new ways.